Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. We're all back with the 8 PM show. Hope you're doing fantastic well. We have got a guest on tonight. We have got the one and only, as many of you, if you did used to watch it back in lockdown, we have got Explosive Turton, Mr. Luke Turton. How are you?
Good evening, everyone, and good evening, Dan.
Hello. We are back on the live stream tonight. Obviously, do hit the like buttons on the channel and show your support as per usual. Get us to 4K. I mean, we're getting closer and closer. I've got 20 people watching live. I mean, Luke, I know it's going to be one of them ones. I know how passionate you get and everything, but I mean, how are you finding the whole Nuno thing at the minute?
This might be a bit surprising, but I have an opinion. I wish they'd just all get into the room and sort it out, to be honest with you. Like, I'm not being funny, but these are 3 grown men. Like, grow up and work with what you've got.
Yeah, definitely. I've been saying it quite a bit that they're having to need to sort it out around closed doors and not putting the main, because obviously you know that would have had an effect on the players on Sunday, don't you think?
I think, to be fair, the tactics were wrong. The game plan was wrong. Nuno's substitutions were wrong, or lack of. And why all of a sudden have we gone from being able to pass the ball intricately and move quickly up the field in the first game to firing balls at 1,000 miles an hour to somebody about 2 yards away?
Yeah, they like going back to the shooting days, don't you think?
I wouldn't go that far.
Fair enough.
It wasn't that bad.
True. I don't know which area you're thinking.
I'm just thinking this is a complete new kind of one, kind of in the middle. It wasn't good, but it wasn't horrendous either. Like, it wasn't in the mix of like 10 games of exactly the same quality. It's just one that raises alarm bells after the comments Nuno made in the press conferences, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, that's a fair shout. I mean, there've been a lot of fans been saying Nuno doing it on purpose to get sacked. I know you have your own thing on it, or but do you think Nuno done it on purpose to get sacked, or is it just Nuno just got his tactics wrong and it just completely bad day in the office?
I believe it probably was a performance that definitely screamed that. Whether or not I believe Nuno would actually actively go out and put a performance of a squad together to get him the sack, I'm not so sure. But the performance that actually was there definitely screamed sack.
You know, I could have put it any more better, because I was hearing it Sunday night and I was just like, really? Yeah, fair enough, it was sackable offence, but it wouldn't have gone out the way to do it to get sacked. And do you think, pardon what you were going to say?
Do you know what it is though, Dan? Right?
Yeah.
If that performance had just been played out and he hadn't have had any kind of comments before the Palace game, he hadn't had that huge articles and falling out with Edu and the agent, and it was just that performance, you'd say he just got his tactics wrong. But because he created so much noise himself, it plays into the, well, has he done that? see the foot, and if he is, he gets the money. But yeah, as well, a lot of the people take it down like season, the first two games, and they failed to find each other. They failed to connect with each other, and they failed to know where each other were going to be. I mean, how many times do these players need to play with each other to have the relationships? It's 10 out of the 11 that played the majority of last season. Like, come on. You got us into a position where we got European football. You should not be going out and turning out that sort of level of performance as a professional footballer, regardless of level. Never mind one that's go into a European competition. Like, come on, wise up.
Yeah, I completely agree, mate. Like you couldn't have put it any more better than I could have put it Monday night by myself. Say you absolutely nailed it. For me, I know one of them ones. I mean, I know we have got a busy few weeks now, especially with the league, the Carabao Cup, Europa League. I think we got like 7 games between the Arsenal and that Newcastle game before the next international beat. I mean, this squad will be utilised really, really well, especially with like the new signings and all that. And obviously, I think it will be interesting to say at least what sort of like Europa League squad we will put out. Because obviously, there have been them little snippets of Amari Hutchinson going to be left out. So, I mean, how are you feeling about everything?
So it was very evident that we have got obviously a lot of games because we're going to have to do a lot of competitions this year. Nuno is going to have to use those players that he's now got at his disposal. I don't think it's particularly a bad thing that Amari Hutchinson's not going to get selected. I mean, for me, that means he just plays in the Premier League and plays in the cup competitions. Like, you can't have every single player registered for every single competition. There is still enough football that Amari Hutchinson can play. The problem we have is somebody is going to be unhappy because, all right, to get it down to Premier League squad size, you just leave Murato, Taiwo, Jota Silva, and you don't need to register Jair or Zabit. Because technically, you've got your 5 dropouts there anyway. That's 25. You've got your other 25 named. The Europa League squad asks you to go from 25 to 22, so 3 more drop out. I'm guessing at that point, you may go and say, okay, I'm going to need to drop probably Dominguez. That's another one you could drop out if he's not going to be fit. Then you've got 2 more to drop out. Hutchinson will probably be 1. And then you get to look at it and think, okay.
I don't understand that, but would you drop a goalkeeper and just have the 2? I know it sounds risky if one of them get injured, but
2 seconds.
yeah. But I
want to
was thinking then, would you drop a goalkeeper, or is there someone that you look at and think, yeah, they weren't playing that, but they were playing that competition a lot more, or they're being in the Premier League more than they would fit in the Europa League squad. I mean, look at Chelsea last season. I know it's Conference League, but they didn't have Paul Palmer to the later rounds.
So that's not what I want. I think you can name 2 goalkeepers in there in list A. but you have to name another one on list B. But I would say that, yeah, okay, then you drop Angus Gunn, and then there's your list. But again, looking at it, you've also got real competition now for does you go with Angus Gunn or John Victor against Swansea?
Very good point. And obviously, John Victor had match fitness, but then Gunn had not touched the ball since he's been with us.
But to be fair, Carlos Miguel hadn't touched the ball since until he came in the clubs. Oh, just a bit of feedback for you, Dan. When I'm talking, just mute you.
Yeah.
Go on.
Yeah, I was just saying that, Andrew. But yeah, I completely agree with you and what you're saying. But then I think most of them are like 21 anyway, so will that count anyway?
Yeah, because Europa League is a bit different. You have to register every player, I think it is, that you intend to use, including youth players. So the squad that I saw that we put out, there was 30 names listed before Quaibano went out back to Botafogo. And then you've got Zach Abbott, which, again, for Europa League, you'd have to register, but for the Premier League, you wouldn't. So, again, it gives you that little bit of leeway to kind of say, okay, Morato, Jota, Taiwo gets you to the limit in the Premier League. And then it just goes a bit further than that in the Europa League.
Yeah, I completely agree. I completely get you now, but I know there've been talk on them three today from John Pacey that two of them got interest from Saudi and Tower got interest aboard anyway. So, I mean, I don't know when Saudi transfer window or Turkish closes, but can you, when we come to the Arsenal game, can you see them three still being at the club?
So, the Saudi transfer window closes on September the 23rd. The Turkish window closes on the 12th. So to answer your question, do I see them still being at the club? Jota Silva, I heavily doubt. He's going to probably move somewhere. Taiwo, very much depends if an offer comes in. There hasn't been much talk of interest from many places. He may stay and have to just deal with not playing. Bit of a shock for Taiwo, but again, we've signed better options now. And as for Morato, teams will be interested in a centre back, like tall centre back that with time on the ball is going to look really good. So yeah, teams will be interested in Morato.
Yeah, completely get where you're coming from. To say that we didn't consider going with him to December and that, I mean, I was a bit funny, but now I didn't really realise it to one game, and I'm like, oh, I see what they mean now about Morato. So yeah, completely agree. But yes, Taiwo, I'm a bit gutted more because I think of what he has done for the club, but I think injuries, fitness issues, you do need fully fit players now, like and more, and Tower couldn't really do it. Whereas Jota would have been all right for like certain cup games, like Tower, English sort of like cup games like the FA Cup and Carabao Cup, but he wasn't going to get that game time back here, especially with the Premier League and that. So I completely agree with you.
Well, I think with it, Murato there's a lot of games where he got caught under the ball. Honestly, you'd watch it and you'd think, for a big guy, you're really under the ball. Whereas when we're playing as a 2 in there, it really does flow. I think as well, Nuno really likes Willy Bolly, really likes Willy Bolly, and it's showing that he's probably the third choice centre back again now. And then you've got Jair as kind of like the fourth option, being able to learn a bit about the Premier League, not having to be thrown straight in. Taiwo, it always took him about 7 or 8 games consistently to get up to speed. And that was okay for when we came into the Prem and you're wanting to just kind of stay in around kind of the bottom and stick around. But now we're looking at competing in 4 competitions. We need players that are there right from the get-go. As for Jota, when you've signed Hutchinson, McAtee, Bakwa and Kalimawendo in one window, and then you've also got Dan and Doy that came in. You've also got Callum. He's looking at being 7th choice. I've even mentioned Bakwa.
Nah.
I mean, there's the thing. You've got way too many players for those positions now. And where does he fit in? He ain't going to fit in. So for him, the reason that we signed him and Sosa at the time was to be in the mid-table of the Premier League. And they would work for that goal. The thing is, we went from being 16th, 17th to basically being 8th. We had no mid-table moment. We went from being right at the bottom to being right at the top. And your targets and the amount of quality you need drastically changes.
Yeah, completely. I sort of get it. I do get it now. To be now we are discussing about it in that bit more depth. I completely get it. I mean, yeah. I mean, when you're looking at the next 7 games, I mean, how can you see Forest finish? Because we are going to be in the 3 competitions now. I mean, especially if you're going to get through the Carabao Cup. Not saying that we will on road because Swansea away, and I mean you got tragic memories of that cup game, but I mean it could potentially mean that I think between now and the Arsenal game and in October, I think we're only going to have 1 week properly off.
Right. Well, this is where the wonderful 2 words squad rotation are necessary. Because Arsenal game, you look at what Arsenal are good at, you look at how we can penetrate, and you've got to select the side that's the best to play that game. Now, for me, you make changes. Douglas Luiz comes into your midfield. You you look at playing a quicker player through the middle. As much as I love Chris Wood, you play a quicker guy through the middle, probably Calvert-Lewin, because you want someone that can run onto balls. They've got big guys at the back. You're going to want a mobile guy that can try and get in behind. We need to start utilising these new signings a little bit in the Premier League so that we're not just throwing them straight into a game and going, go for it, in games that are basically European fixtures. Then, all right, Swansea comes along. You can basically then say, okay, well, for me, your keeper's a toss of a coin between Angus Gunn and John Victor. Then you've got Savona, you've got Bolly, you can probably play Zach Abbott, you've got Zinchenko. Then you've got further forward, you've got potentially you can then play Yates and McAtee. Further forward, you've got Hutchinson, Bakwa, and then another. Probably could also throw in there a Sangare or a Douglas Luiz, whichever one's not going to play. Through the middle, you can play Jesus. And Swan fans go, oh my God, we're playing Forest reserves. And I've just named you an 11, which basically could play in the Premier League. I mean, let's face it, that's a strong team I've named there. So then you're going into Burnley again. You look at what they're good at. You're always going to play Chris Wood away at Burnley. But apart from that, again, what wingers are impressing, what ones are not. Does Bakwa get a start against Burnley? Does he play Dan and Doy again? That's up for debate. The Europe game, I think you go with your strongest side. Again, whatever that is. But you rotate it round. You drip players in and out for the competition you're playing and the team you're playing against. And you really do look at, okay, these two players are going to work for this game. And you have to be that proactive. You can't be in a game and go, this is not working, so we'll throw it here. You can react during a game, don't get me wrong. But really, you want to be proactive first.
Yeah, completely getting out with it all, like, completely, like, understand with it all. Which again, I think especially it was nice to have that unchanged sort of 11. I've been saying it, I can't remember last time we had an unchanged sort of 11, 3 games in advance for, like, quite a while. I mean, but I think now it's the time to see the changes and all that, and hopefully, we do see it against Arsenal, especially with couple players. I completely agree with you, and especially that cup game after. It'd be nice, not to, it'd be nice to rest players as well, like you said, and also give nights off to like Oluwayne and Gibbs White, and who, I mean, and for me should be starting most games, but it'd be nice to give him a night off, and just try and test it, try and test these new players with different players, like you said.
Yeah, I think we're going to have to start looking at getting a couple of them in. I mean, Douglas Luiz and Bakwa are ones I would look at chucking straight in now. Apart from that, again, your first team starts majority of games, but again, you're going to have to play it by the game you're playing against. But really, we're going to have to start working out who's right for what game and not just going, okay, well, we've had a settled 11. It worked for Brentford, but it's not really worked for the next two. Like, change it.
I know certain managers used to do that, but in his first stint, he used to go by the game and what played. I know Cliffy did as well, like, and Fergie did it. Like, they just went off the players that certain players suit to certain games, which is true.
Last thing on this. If you have got incredibly mobile back four, then you can probably look at, okay, go, we'll play it up to Chris Wood if they're not that great in the air, or if they're not that great with physicality. If you're playing with two huge guys at the back that are just going to mop all of that up, switch it up, play a bit more pace. If they are scared of players running at you, get the pace in there. You've got quick players now. Hudson Odoi, Callum Mwendo, and Bakwa. Can you imagine a front line of those three running at you?
It'd be filth.
there you go. Like you have to try these things, and be brave with it. They're not always going to come off, but if you're trying something and it does work, it's going to be brilliant. And you're not going to be able to get 50 games out of Chris Wood. I hate to enlighten fans, but you aren't going to get that many games out of Chris Wood. You are going to have to see Jesus or Callum Mwendo through the middle during this season. It is going to have to happen.
Yeah, definitely. I completely agree with you on that. Like, you have to switch it up. I know they did that with Earnshaw, that they're giving 2 out of 3 games a week just to play. And yeah, Chris Wood is aging quite a lot now, so I know he's the same age as me, to be fair. But he won't get load of games. I know Nuno likes that consistency, like that continuity, like that things. But obviously, we all know that. But I think he will have to switch up just to give freshen things up with the squad and trial and test things.
Nuno may like consistency, but there is a level between consistency and fitness levels and what players can actually physically do. I mean, you've got a squad for a reason now. He wanted players in each position and backups. You're going to have to start using them. And, end of the day, the players and the playing styles, you can switch it all up, to be fair, Dan, and it does exactly the same thing.
Yeah, completely agree with you on it. I mean, how many wins can you see us getting it between now and this next international break when we do start back up after this probably pointless international break?
Well, I don't think it's pointless as international break because the club clearly need a reset. So, I mean, it's come at the right time for Nuno and Edu to sort themselves out and work out what the heck's going to go on. But in terms of results, I think I wouldn't like to put a number on the amount of wins because I honestly have no idea. Like, it's so unpredictable, especially when you've got cups in Europe in the mix. I find it impossible to predict, so I'm going to sit on the fence.
Yeah, I thought I'd try and get you on the question. To be fair, that's why I did it. Brilliant. But yeah, I mean, where can people find you on TikTok?
Okay, so I'm Token Talks Football on TikTok. I basically do all my stuff over there now. So if you are interested and want to hear more from me on anything football related, check out the profile.
So yeah, thank you for watching us as per usual. Thank you for Luke for coming on as per usual.
No worries.
But yeah, if you like the video, do like on whatever platform you are watching. And there's 306 of you watching live at minute. So whatever platform you are watching it on, do hit the like buttons and all that, and subscribe. So I'd like to say thank you for watching. And goodbye.